Parliament, opposition walks out of Lok Sabha amid a war of words on Sambhal. Akhilesh Yadav blames cops for Sambhal violence. Rahul Gandhi to visit Sambhal tomorrow. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar speaks on India-China issue in Lok Sabha, says situation now normal at the LAC and de-escalation is the next priority. And it will be a hard bargaining for portfolios among Mahayuti partners. NCP's Chhagan Bhujbal claims his party is number 2 and has a better strike rate than the Shiv Sena. Body of Kannada actress Shobhita Sivanna released to her relatives following an autopsy. Police to question friends and relatives as probe intensifies into her mysterious death. And no lawyer to represent arrested ISKCON priest Chinmoy Das in Bangladesh. Bail hearing postponed till 2nd of January. And terrorist killed in an encounter with security forces in joint operation in Jammu and Kashmir's Srinagar. And Sad Sukhbir Singh Badal performed Sevadar duty at the Golden Temple in Amritsar with a plaque around his neck following religious punishment pronounced for him by Shri Akal Takht Sahib. Fan mania grows around Pushpa 2, The Rule. With advance booking now open, Allu Arjun starrer Pushpa 2 will release over 12,000 screens worldwide on 5th of December. Karnataka politician Yatnal and his team is in Delhi to meet with Jagdambika Pal to discuss the Waqf issue. Yatnal faction also holds meeting on other matters. And our top story at this hour, preparations are in full swing at the Azad Maidan in Mumbai for the swearing-in ceremony of the new Mahayuti government scheduled for 5th of December, which is day after tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to attend the event along with other leaders from the centre, and even as Mahayuti leaders are to meet at the Chief Minister's residence to discuss oath-taking and cabinet formation, tussle for berths has now begun. NCP leader Chhagan Bhujbal has made it clear that his party is number 2 in the alliance after the BJP. He pointed that the NCP has a better strike rate than the Shiv Sena.
की अजित दादांच्या बरोबर आमच्या आमदारांची जी बैठक झाली त्याच्यामध्ये ज्या वेळेला हिशोब केला गेला त्यावेळेला ठीक आहे, शिंदे गटाने जास्त जागा मिळायला लढवायला त्यांचे जास्त निवडून आले. आमच्या गटाला त्यामानाने फार कमी जागा मिळाल्या त्यामुळे आमचे निवडून आले. परंतु त्याला स्ट्राईक रेट आपण म्हणतो त्याच्यामध्ये BJP 1 नंबरला आहे आमच्यामध्ये आणि 2 नंबरला अर्थातच अजित पवार गट आहे आणि 3 नंबरला शिंदे साहेबांचा गट आहे. थोडासा फरक आहे 2 नंबर 3 नंबरमध्ये. तर आमच्या म्हणणं असं आहे की आमचा पण स्ट्राईक रेट चांगला आहे, तर तुम्ही त्यांच्या एवढंच आम्हाला पण जागा द्या.
Meanwhile, Eknath Shinde was earlier in the day rushed to Jupiter Hospital in Thane as his health condition showed no signs of improvement. The caretaker chief minister had travelled to his native village in Satara district last Friday amid rumours about his dissatisfaction with the current government's progress. He reportedly developed high fever while he was in his native village and he's now sought treatment. All right, that's the latest as far as the government formation, the Mahayuti government formation in Maharashtra is concerned. My colleague Rajiv Singh joining us live. Rajiv, it does look like at this point in time that there are internal disputes arising as to who is going to get what cabinet in the Mahayuti government.
देखिए जो मिनिस्ट्री जो पोर्टफोलियो मिलना है उसी को लेकर दरअसल लगातार ये विरोधी सवाल उठा रहे थे कि एकनाथ शिंदे की जो नाराज़गी है वो नाराज़गी की वजह कहीं ना कहीं गृह मंत्रालय की मांग कर रहे थे। लेकिन एकनाथ शिंदे से कल जब गिरीश महाजन, जो कि देवेंद्र फडणवीस के बहुत ज़्यादा करीबी हैं, उनसे मुलाकात हुई, लगभग सवा घंटे तक चर्चा हुई। हालांकि महाजन ने निकलने के बाद ये कहा कि ये चूंकि बीमार है, उनके गले में संक्रमण है, बुखार से त्रस्त हैं, इसलिए मिलने के लिए आए थे, स्वास्थ्य कारणों की चिंता थी उन्हें उस बात को लेकर। लेकिन हकीकत ऐसा नहीं है। राजनीति में कोई भी मुलाकात, कोई भी पिक्चर जब आती है तो यूं ही नहीं होता, उसके पीछे कोई वजह होती है, और वजह जो आई उसके बाद में एक पिक्चर धीरे धीरे क्लियर हुआ। एकनाथ शिंदे जो हैं, उसके बाद उनके खेमे से इस तरह की खबर आई कि एकनाथ शिंदे जो हैं, चूंकि ये मुलाकात कल हुई थी तो आज वो वर्षा बंगले पर आएंगे और उसके बाद अपना जो डेली का कामकाज है वो शुरू करेंगे। क्योंकि जो डेडलॉक था शुक्रवार से, जब से वो अपने सतारा जिले में दरेगांव अपने गए थे, तब से एक डेडलॉक सा बन गया था। कोई बैठक नहीं हो रही थी महायुति की, आपस में कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं दिख रहा था, विपक्ष लगातार सवाल उठा रहा था। लेकिन ये डेडलॉक जो है कल रात को खत्म हुआ। उसके बाद में शिंदे जो है, आज सुबह जिस तरह से एक तस्वीर आई कि वो आपस से उनकी तबीयत खराब है, और दोपहर होते होते एकनाथ शिंदे जुपिटर अस्पताल पहुंच गए। तो एक बार फिर से ये हवा उड़ी, यह कह सकते हैं कि ये खबर सामने है कि शायद बहुत ज़्यादा तबीयत खराब है। हालांकि जब उनका डेंगू और मलेरिया का चेकअप किया गया तो वो रिपोर्ट निगेटिव आई, लेकिन लगातार उन्हें बुखार आ रहा है, गले में संक्रमण है, इस बात को इनकार नहीं किया जा सकता। डॉक्टर्स की एक टीम ने उनका सीटी स्कैन किया, एंडोस्कोपी की, एक्सरे निकाला, उनके चेस्ट में भी किसी तरह का कोई इन्फेक्शन है उसको जानने की कोशिश की। रिपोर्ट्स आनी अभी बाकी है, लेकिन चेकअप के बाद में एकनाथ शिंदे वहां से निकले और उसके बाद में अब 5वें दिन, आज कह सकते हैं कि 5वें दिन जो है मुंबई पहुंचे हैं शुक्रवार के बाद में, और यहां पर अपने पार्टी के नेताओं के साथ में बैठक करेंगे और इस बात की आगे चर्चा की जाएगी कि किस तरह का पोर्टफोलियो मिलना है, कौन कौन से लोग मंत्री हो सकते हैं, उसको लेकर चर्चा उनके नेताओं से होगी। लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं खींचतान जरूर थी, इस बात को लेकर जीत पर अड़े थे एकनाथ शिंदे को, उन्हें गृह मंत्रालय मिलना चाहिए। लेकिन जो देवेंद्र फडणवीस हैं, उसके पहले भी जब वो मुख्यमंत्री थे तभी भी उनके पास गृह मंत्रालय था, जब वो मुख्यमंत्री रहे एकनाथ शिंदे जब सीएम थे तभी भी गृह मंत्रालय उनके पास था। तो देवेंद्र फडणवीस या बीजेपी गृह मंत्रालय को किसी भी कीमत पर एकनाथ शिंदे को देने को तैयार नहीं थी। जो जानकारी है उसके मुताबिक 2 हैवीवेट मंत्रालय जो है एकनाथ शिंदे को ऑफर किया गया है, अर्बन डेवलपमेंट और पीडब्ल्यूडी, ये दोनों ही मंत्रालय एकनाथ शिंदे के पास में रहेंगे। इसके अलावा कुछ और रेवेन्यू जैसे कुछ और महत्वपूर्ण मंत्रालय दिए जाएंगे। लेकिन एकनाथ शिंदे की बीमारी और लगातार 5 दिन तक एक डेडलॉक बना रहना, किसी के संपर्क में नहीं आना, कहीं ना कहीं जो है एक चर्चा का विषय जरूर बना कि क्या एकनाथ शिंदे का जो खेमा है वो नाराज है। हालांकि नेता लगातार कोऑर्डिनेशन की बात करते रहे, इस दरमियान 2 बार प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस भी किया, एकनाथ शिंदे ने अपनी बातें रखी कि महायुति के साथ में है, लेकिन युति के साथ में होना, लेकिन समन्वय न स्थापित हो पाना, यह दिखा रहा था कि कहीं ना कहीं कुछ चीजों को लेकर मनभेद जरूर है, मतभेद भले ना हो।
All right, that of course is the latest as far as Mahayuti is concerned. Rajiv, thank you very much for all those details. It does appear like factions of Mahayuti are unhappy with each other as far as the cabinet berths, who's going to get what is concerned. But remember that oath-taking ceremony of the new Maharashtra cabinet will take place on 5th of December. But shifting focus now, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar addressed the Lok Sabha today, offering an update on India-China relations. In a significant statement, the minister said, and I quote, "Full disengagement has been achieved in the eastern Ladakh region, making it and marking a positive step in easing tensions between the two neighboring nations." He added that India's next priority will be to focus on de-escalation along the border, while emphasizing that recent developments reflect continuous diplomatic efforts. Jaishankar reminded the House that the ties with China have been strained since 2020, when the peace in the border area was disturbed. He also reiterated that China continues its illegal occupation of the 38,000 square kilometers of Indian territory in Aksai Chin, an issue rooted in the events of the 1962 India-China conflict. However, the minister noted that recent diplomatic engagements have steered ties in the direction of some improvement.
Situation arising after our counter deployment in 2020 called for multiple sets of responses. The immediate priority was to ensure disengagement from friction points so that there would be no further untoward incidents or clashes. This, sir, has been fully achieved, as I will explain. The next priority will be to consider de-escalation. That would address the massing of troops along the LAC with associated accompaniments. It is also evident that the management of border areas will require further attention in the light of our recent experiences. In all of this, we were and we remain very clear that the three key principles must be observed in all circumstances. One, both sides should strictly respect and observe the LAC. Two, neither side should attempt to unilaterally alter the status quo. And three, agreements and understandings reached in the past must be fully abided by in their entirety. Honorable members would appreciate that as a result of the sustained tension and specific developments in the border areas, our overall relationship with China was bound to be impacted adversely. In the new circumstances, it was obviously not possible to continue the normal exchanges, interactions, and activities as in the past. In this regard, we made clear that the development of our ties were contingent on the principles of mutual sensitivity, mutual respect, and mutual interest. Throughout this period, honorable members would also be aware that government has maintained that India-China relations cannot be normal in the absence of peace and tranquility in the border areas. The combination of a firm and principled stance on the situation in the border areas, as well as a clearly articulated approach to the totality of our ties, have been the foundation of our engagement with China for the last 4 years. We have been very clear that the restoration of peace and tranquility would be the basis for the rest of the relationship to move forward.
And in the wake of a recent spike in terrorist activities in Jammu and Kashmir, the Ministry of Home Affairs has now revealed that there have been 5 casualties of Indian soldiers in such attacks along the Indo-Pakistan border between 2021 and 2023. The information was shared by Minister of State for Home Affairs Nityanand Rai. In a statement, Rai emphasized the government's strong stance on combating terrorism, saying that the government has adopted a zero-tolerance policy against terrorism, particularly along the Indo-Pakistan border. He added that the government's approach focuses on dismantling the entire terror ecosystem. To strengthen border security and curb terrorist activities, the government has implemented several strategic measures. These efforts have contributed significantly to controlling terrorism along the border, ensuring greater security for our soldiers and citizens. Among other measures implemented by the government, one is a close coordination between the security forces and the intelligence agency, NIA. While the NIA has closely investigated all terrorist activities that have taken place so far, the government has also strengthened the existing multi-agency centre to ensure peace prevails along the border. And as per data shared by MOS Home Affairs, there have been, as I mentioned, 4 casualties along LOC in 2021, 1 in 2022 and 0 in 2023. And shifting focus now, the bail hearing for Chinmoy Krishna, a Hindu priest in Bangladesh facing sedition charges, has been postponed yet again. The Chattogram court has now scheduled the hearing for 2nd of January 2025 after no lawyers appeared in the court on Tuesday to represent the priest. Now, ISKCON has alleged that the Bangladeshi lawyers defending Das was attacked by Islamists at his home and is currently in the ICU. While other lawyers reportedly refused to take up the case, the situation raises serious concerns about justice and safety for minority groups in Bangladesh. The court cited the absence of a defense lawyer as the reason for postponing the hearing. Meanwhile, the priest will continue to languish in jail until 2nd of January 2025. And 116 Hindu minority lawyers, mainly those practicing at the Chittagong District and Sessions Court in Bangladesh, have been falsely charged of being in connection with ISKCON leader Chinmoy in his sedition case. The interim government of Bangladesh has intensified attacks on the minorities. In response, the Rights and Risk Analysis Group today filed a complaint with the UN Special Rapporteur on independence of judges and lawyers and Special Rapporteur on minorities, urging them to intervene with the interim government of Bangladesh to stop false prosecution of minorities and provide protection of the law to Hindu minorities. A complaint was filed by one Khane Alam on 27th of November, post which action was taken against those 100-odd lawyers.
Our neighboring country Bangladesh, where the minorities and the Hindus are being tortured and being killed. क्या हुआ?
Please.
Sir, Bangladesh is our neighboring country, attached with our state of West Bengal also. Sir, what we making appeal that let the government of India appeal to United Nations for sending peacekeeping forces at Bangladesh immediately. Sir, government of India is totally silent now. The reason of which is best told to them. Our appeal that let Minister of External Affairs come to the Parliament and intimate us at the latest position of Bangladesh, what is happening over there. Sir, our Chief Minister yesterday adopted a resolution in West Bengal Assembly. Whatever decision government of India will take, West Bengal government will stand by the decision. We want to work together, but the people of Bangladesh want to be saved all out. And our experiences say in past, many refugees, evacuees used to come crossing Bangladesh border to our state. Our Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee very categorically has said that let government should come and they should reply. I would request you to direct the government, sir, to intimate the House latest position of Bangladesh.
And time for a short break now. We'll be back with more news and stories on the other side. Keep watching News9.
If it's a cancer, then what?
It's very distressing.
Anyone can have cancer.
Mentality है कि ये बीमारी मुझे नहीं हो सकती.
There's a thing called cancer is right inside me.
सबसे पहले जो होता है ना, डर जो होता है कि now it's the end of the world.
My life went upside down.
Stigma associated with it, which is very scary.
In our country, more than 14 lakh people get diagnosed with cancer every year. Out of that, more than 9 lakhs die every year because of cancer.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Thank you, Barun Das. I think the entire TV9 team for putting together such a great, fantastic show.
I would like to congratulate TV9 for organizing the first ever News9 Global Summit, and I'm sure it will be a great success.
It's indeed an immense pleasure and honor for me to be present here in this News9 Global Summit.
Welcome back. I am Shweta Kothari. Pushpa 2 has now shattered all records even before its release. Allu Arjun's highly anticipated Pushpa 2, The Rule, is making waves even before its grand release in India. The film has achieved a record-breaking milestone with over 10 lakh tickets booked on Book My Show, becoming the fastest Telugu movie to reach the milestone. Early figures reveal that Pushpa 2 has already raked in 50 crore rupees in advance booking for its opening day, setting the stage for a historic box office run. Now, adding to the excitement is Allu Arjun, who thrilled his fans by sharing an exclusive behind-the-scene video on Instagram, offering a sneak peek into the hard work and creativity behind the sequel to the blockbuster movie Pushpa: The Rise. Meanwhile, the ticket prices for Pushpa 2 have been approved as the highest ever for a Telugu film. In a post on social media platform X, Allu Arjun thanked Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu and Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. And with the pre-sales reaching record historic highs and fans rushing to grab tickets, Pushpa 2 is already dominating headlines all over. The demand for Pushpa 2, The Rule, among fans and consequently advertisers is also highly anticipated across the country, including metro cities and Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns and cities.
This December 5th.
And in an exclusive message via TV9 Group, actor Allu Arjun appealed to all fans to go and watch his film Pushpa 2 at the box office.
My movie Pushpa 2, which is releasing on December 5th, it is going to be there running in your city. Please do watch it. Definitely your love and support would mean a lot to me.
And to know more about the pre-sale frenzy and what is driving fans crazy as far as Pushpa 2 is concerned, here's a quick conversation between my colleagues Kabir Naqvi and Krishna Kumar.
This December 5th. Hope to see you in theaters.
Up there in the newsroom, we were all going through Book My Show, trying to decode what the price structure looks like for the film as well. There are a lot of movie, theaters in the National Capital Region. Let's say, you've got PVR, Select City Walk, these prime, top-notch PVR director's cut in ambience as well. I mean, they're selling movie tickets to the tune of 1,800 rupees. And many people up in the newsroom are sort of raising their eyebrows. Do you think this is going to be some sort of a problem for Pushpa 2?
The thing is that you're looking at ticket prices ranging anywhere between 300 to 3,000. That's what I understand at this stage. We don't know. And look, the fact of the matter is that any movie that releases, any big banner, big budget movie that releases, the ticket prices for the first weekend and the first week always tend to be high, and that's where the theater owners, they try to make the maximum amount of money in that first weekend or the first few days of the release. So it's not a surprise that ticket prices are high. Yes, ticket prices are higher than usual. Yes, that can lead to the raised eyebrows. But the problem here is that if that was a problem, so many tickets should not have been booked already. So many lakhs and lakhs of tickets have been booked in India already. The Andhra Pradesh government approving the higher ticket prices, and Allu Arjun also, thanking the Andhra Pradesh state government for allowing that higher ticket prices as well. So that, in a sense, is sort of telling you what Pushpa 2 is doing to the movie business. How can you maximize, the expectations surrounding a film, the curiosity surrounding a film? What all can you do to market it? For example, you have vouchers, discount vouchers being given on quick commerce platforms. Why? Probably because these ticket prices are very high, and with those vouchers, consumers can get tickets at a better price. So, every time you order on a quick commerce platform, for example, say Blinkit, you get it above 999 rupees, you get a 200 rupee voucher. So that's to sort of cut the pain of the extra hike in ticket prices.
And Pushpa 2, they're of course expected to rule the hearts of moviegoers. But shifting focus now, let's take a quick look at stories coming in both nationally and internationally, making headlines today. A 2-kilometer stretch of Chennai-Pondicherry East Coast Road gets flooded after heavy rainfall. Assam Congress leaders protest against BJP and demand Prime Minister Modi to take action over attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh. Uber launches first of its kind Shikara booking in Srinagar's Dal Lake. Police detained farmers protesting at the Rashtriya Dalit Prerna Sthal in Noida. And a court in Uttar Pradesh accepts the petition against Shamsi Shahi Mosque in Badaun district. Russian drones attack critical infrastructure in Ukraine's west. The attack left the part of city of Ternopil without electricity. And Iran blames the US and Israel for Syrian conflict, vows continued support for Assad government. Controversial refereeing decision sparks violence, and a crush at a soccer match in southeast Guinea, killing 56 people. And hundreds of Catholic devotees climbed Guatemala's volcano on Saturday in a procession to return the statue of Christ of the Heights to its chapel in volcano's crater. Kremlin says latest US aid for Kyiv shows Biden administration wants to keep Ukraine war ongoing. And in the largest escalation in Syrian civil war in years, Syrian rebels have taken considerable ground, including the most important city of Aleppo. Now, Syrian rebels standing atop abandoned government tanks on Aleppo's outskirts have seized territory once firmly under President Bashar al-Assad's control. And according to sources, hundreds of Iran-backed Iraqi fighters crossed into Syria to help the government fight rebels who seized Aleppo last week. But Lebanon's Hezbollah has no plans for now to join them. And Iran's regional militia, coupled with Russia's air power, were in fact and are instrumental in reversing the tide of Syrian civil war. However, renewed fighting has reopened international fault lines in a conflict that has largely been stabilized since 2020. And Turkey and Iran on the opposing sides of the conflict traded barbs while Turkey's foreign minister urged reconciliation. Iran's envoy blamed the violence on the US and the Zionist interference. In Idlib, continuous airstrikes are allegedly being carried out by Russia and Syrian jets. The strikes coincide with reports of discussion between the US and the UAE of lifting sanctions against Assad if he distances himself from Iran.
Nothing has changed with respect to our policy. Assad is a brutal dictator with blood on his hands, the blood of innocent civilians inside Syria, blood of his own people on his hands. Ultimately, what we want to see is a political process forward where the Syrian people get to determine who their leaders are. As I said, United Nations Security Council Resolution 2254 called for such a process. The Syrian government has never participated in that process. We continue to call on them to do so. We continue to call on all countries to use their influence to push forward that kind of political process that would lead to a path forward for the Syrian people, where the regime engages with opposition groups. We also believe it would be helpful if Russia and Iran stopped their destabilizing influence inside Syria. We have seen them continue to destabilize the situation going back more than a decade now, continue to play a role that is unhelpful not just to the Syrian people but to the broader region.
Analysts suggest that Assad's reliance on Iranian support for a counter-offensive could complicate efforts to weaken his ties to Tehran. The US has reiterated its call for a political process to end Syrian prolonged civil war as rebel forces consolidate gains in Aleppo.
This is not a new happening. Actually, 2019, they reached an agreement in Astana between Iran, Syria, Russia, and Turkey that there will be a truce, there will be no attack. But because of the ongoing war on Gaza and then followed up in Lebanon, Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, threatened the Syrian president on 26th of November, and he told him that it will be, he's playing with fire. And then immediately there was a meeting between the intelligence of Turkey and Israel, and the attack was launched. So if you can, while I'm watching your report, I could see when the statue was falling, there was an Uzbek voice. It was not even a Syrian. That's a clear indication that these are a terrorist organization led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which used to be an ISIS and then changed its clothes to go to Al-Qaeda, and now he changed it to dress up as a moderate, as the American wanted to show, because 28 of these groups active in Idlib Kabir are supported by the United States. And the Los Angeles Times carried an article and the headline that rebels supported by militia supported by the Pentagon are fighting the militia supported by the CIA. So you can imagine what's going on in Syria. It has nothing to do with the rebels. They're simply an opposition created by the United States for deafening the Syrian government, which they failed since 2011.
And that's all we have on the show. Thank you very much for watching.
India and Sweden bilateral ties go as far as India's independence.
We have now more than 75 years of diplomatic relations. Green transition is a survival issue for us, for the world, and also for India. Even the small solutions have a big impact. For us, the will to invest in India is already there. India is a country that keeps us busy. The potential is there and we are ready to exploit it. That's actually how you build the culture of bridges.
And this is The Diplomat.
Thank you, Barun Das. I think, the entire TV9 team for putting together such a great, fantastic show.
I would like to congratulate TV9 for organizing the first ever News9 Global Summit, and I'm sure it will be a great success.
It's indeed an immense pleasure and honor for me to be present here in this News9 Global Summit.